Self-inquiry, what it is and what it isn't. In my experience, it's helpful to start with explaining what self-inquiry is not. So self-inquiry is not a way to give you what you think you're going to get out of awakening or enlightenment. This may be obvious to some, and to others it may sound silly. Of course I want to get something out of this. Of course I want to get a benefit from awakening. Why else would I do it? And I understand that view, but what I'm really saying is it's not going to give you what you think you're going to get. It just won't. It's not the purpose of awakening to deliver the goods in the way the mind thinks they need to be delivered for your life to work, or to be happy, or to be settled or prosperous or enlightened or whatever. All of those paradigms of the mind, those seeking paradigms, those imagined futures, those themselves are causing the trouble. They're causing the problem. What trouble? What problem? The problem of suffering, the problem of unsatisfactoriness. That's why I always start with recognizing, realizing, feeling into our own sense of things not being quite right with the way I'm experiencing life. A kind of authenticity that says, yeah, it hasn't worked. I've done the things, the relationships, money, career. Nothing is deeply satisfying, or it may be satisfying for a short time, and then I feel like I'm chasing it again, or chasing another version of it, or a bigger version of it. So I just work harder, work faster, think more, to overlook the fact that what didn't work before probably won't work again in the future, or it won't work permanently. It'll only work for a while. It'll be a temporary respite from suffering, and then I'll just go on seeking again, burning up more energy, more effort. When we see all of this, it can feel really unsettling. It can make us feel helpless. But it opens up a possibility to look elsewhere, to look in a different way. And the way is inward, to look inward. Start from the very beginning. Find out what you are and what you're not. Address the fundamental issue of identity, and all of these life circumstances that are unsettling and unsatisfying, or these realizations that these life circumstances don't lead to a deep, settled experience of life, these won't be a problem anymore. The unsettling experience is because we're using our mind, we're using thought, we're using imagined pasts and futures, we're using imagined aspects of identity to avoid something. We're using it really to avoid this unsatisfactoriness I'm talking about. So that's why that's the first step. We have to acknowledge that unsatisfactoriness. When we acknowledge that, then we realize, okay, awakening isn't here to give me something I think I want. Awakening isn't here to give me what I'm imagining it will give me. Awakening is for penetrating the delusion, getting under the delusion that makes it feel like life well lived is somewhere else, sometime later, in some way I imagine it. And then we have an opportunity to really drop into, find ourselves in what's what. The truth of this moment, the truth of non-duality, the truth of endless unbinding, the truth of freedom, peace that is fundamental to all experience, but doesn't have to do with you and the way you think about yourself. That's why identity is ultimately the barrier, but it's also that which needs to be addressed if we want to live a life of peace and freedom. So look deeply into why it is you want to wake up, what you think you're going to get out of it, and realize it's not here to give you that. The process, the possibility of awakening is here to disrupt the fundamental belief system you have about who you are, what you are, how the world functions, that imagining things being better is going to somehow make them better, Living in your mind, living in thoughts is ultimately unsatisfying. Awakening is to get under all of that. That's the point. And that's the point of inquiry, ultimately. It's to ruthlessly inquire into the nature of who and what you are right now, and be honest about what you find, and most importantly, honest about what you don't find. That's the point of awakening. That's the point of inquiry. So start with an honest examination of what you think it's going to give you, and then discard that. Feel into the unsettling truth that you're not in control in the way you think you are, and that your mind is not really your friend in this way. Feel into the simple truth that things are uncomfortable the way you're living your life. And feel deeper into the possibility that there's another way to live, another way to approach reality, life, sensation, emotion, thought, consciousness. That's what this is about. And put all of that behind the inquiry question. That drive to go beyond the illusion. That discontent fueling the inquiry itself. Then when you ask, who am I? Or what am I? Or where am I? Or what is mu? When you ask these questions, there's something behind it. There's an intention to go beyond illusion, to go beyond self as we know it, to go beyond thought. And then inquiry will go much more fruitfully